And we have 3 championship points.
And that's the match right there. Iga is not on her knees. Iga is reacting to it, pretty vigorously, let's say, but she's not on her knees. Big vocal and with her body as well, with the clenched fist. But that's what we're gonna get from Iga here, as she is jumping right around the court right now, ecstatic with her win.
Kind of a
6-4,
delayed
6
reaction,
club, and 8
but it
games
kind
in
of
a row
reminds me
as
of her
well.
celebration after she beat Bencic. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I mean I know which event you're talking about, but I don't remember the celebration. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she does celebrate like crazy actually after shaking hands with the umpire and just kind of leaping with her arms in the air. Just yeah, just very delighted. And yeah, she's gonna go and hug her team. Uh, yeah, another Indian Wells title. So that's 2 in Indian Wells in the last 3 years. Of course, she also did the three-peat in Doha. She has 2 in the last 3 in Rome as well. And those are her 3 most dominant 1000s. And she also has the one in Miami and
And
Beijing.
she has a crazy record in 2024.
Yes, indeed.
20-2, which only, of course, includes the losses to Noskova and Kalinskaya. Very fast courts, players who really managed to put the pressure on her. Let's see how this goes, sort of going forward. But Miami, she's not gonna be the overwhelming maybe favorite as like in Indian Wells, but like she's still going to be the favorite, right? Regardless of how we actually see the draw. We're gonna have the draw in like 40 minutes or maybe an hour, but
Yeah.
like kind of regardless of the draw, she's gonna be like
Yeah.
her percentage chances are going to be the highest, right? Compared to the other players.
Correct.
Yeah,
So yeah,
any
we're halfway there. We'll see if Carlos can get there as well in terms of the double for the show. But well, if not, we're still going to talk about it. And obviously, Medvedev is a really good hardcourt master specialist by now. So that would be another cool story as well for him to add another one to the collection. I think that would be all for the Masters 1000s in his cabinet in terms of winning all of them.
winning all of
But
them.
of course, on hard courts, yeah, Masters
Oh, on hard
1000.
courts.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He also has a title in Rome and a semi in Monte Carlo.
Iga Carlos spin-off. Derek, actually, it was guaranteed for a while now. Like it was guaranteed when I think when Sabalenka didn't like take a wild
It's
card
Sabalenka
or
lost
sign
to
up for
Newport.
Stone or something like that. Like yeah, basically the 100 weeks
Oh
at
yeah, yeah,
number
yeah.
one, that
She
wasn't.
signed up for Charleston in order
Yeah,
to
like
do that. Yeah.
if she played Charleston, it could have been a thing. But no, actually, right now, yeah, the 100 weeks at number one are secured already. And of course, Iga has also that was actually yesterday, but like well, sorry, 2 days ago, but like she's taken the lead in the WTA race as well, which is pretty funny to think about. That like she has already 655 points more than Sabalenka in the WTA race, despite their Australian Open results being so different. And yeah, that of course is pretty much due to the fact that she hasn't been losing anything else other than the Australian Open, only the Dubai semi, which still gives her quite a lot of points. So yeah, I mean, going forward, her ranking situation, sort of in regards to the number one spot, it does look pretty good. Like if she wins Roland Garros, she's gonna be in a very good position to maintain it for the rest of the year, really. But yeah, Sakari Vansh, another loss. Anything, another final loss, anything sort of in regards to her performance and what she could have done better, and is there is it more a positive day for her or negative?
Well, the tournament as a whole is positive. She can be proud of how she competed in the first set, of course, from being left 3 down and the games that she played to make it very competitive. That could have easily been you know uh, 5-all if she makes that pass, or little things like this. So I should think she can take a lot of positives from that first set. When she lost that first set, it was always going to be tough. It was just a question of how close can she make the second set, really. But no, I mean, I don't think she should be that discouraged by this week. I don't think there was much more she could have really done in this final. Maybe perhaps at the very beginning of the set, honestly, there really wasn't much she could have done different. Maybe she was hoping to start a little bit better, but like I said, that didn't really make too much of a difference. So yeah, I mean, I think the key thing for Sakura is to just keep doing this in tournaments that she didn't do it in last year, and then her ranking will go up, and she should always be sort of in that top 8 through 15 range for a long time, and maybe even higher depending on how other players in her area perform. But yeah, this was a good week.
Yeah, I mean, she had that top 10 streak, right? Which is actually pretty impressive. Like, people don't really think of that, right? That she was in the top 10 for so long. And that's kind of also because she wasn't really ever, that high up.
Was it 130
still,
weeks, something like that, which is quite a bit of time. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, really. Some questions coming in here. Is Iga from a big tennis family in Poland? Not really. Her father was an Olympic rower, I think. But yeah, not really from a tennis family, And Matthew says Carlos and Iga heavy favorites for Roland Garros and the Olympics. Absolutely, but Alcaraz not as heavy as Iga, right?
Yep. Yep.
Like, we're not expecting Carlos to be the overwhelming dominant favorite at Roland Garros. Iga, yeah, I mean, considering that the other
Yeah, we are.
Rybakina and Sabalenka aren't that good on slow clay, yes, she's gonna have a lot of pressure on herself as well at Roland Garros and the Olympics. Whereas Carlos will not have that. Like, Carlos, can win every major really, and of course, I'm not saying he's gonna do it, but I'm saying that there's no pressure for him to win a specific one. Whereas for Iga, yes, there is, because she's considered so much better than the rest of the field at both the Olympics and Roland Garros, because of course it's going to be the same court this year.
Yep, absolutely.
So on Alcaraz, it's not really that big an edge. I mean, we're actually going to see if he's going to be the main favorite, by Roland Garros and the Olympics, because you might encounter a situation where maybe, for example, Djokovic wins Madrid and Rome, or does very well in both of them. Maybe there's Sinner on clay who's actually going to be sort of surprisingly, well, I don't want to say surprisingly good, but he's going to be let's say very much a threat as well. So he might not be the main favorite for Roland Garros or Olympics, but Iga will be. Iga will be for sure. But that also adds the pressure, as I said. Nick says Sakari, if she keeps up this standard, will forget she dropped out the top 10 for a week. Yeah, right now, I mean, she has a final at the WTA 1000 on her ranking and a title at the WTA 1000, right? So that's already 1,600 points. So obviously that puts her in a very good position to, just keep herself around that top 10 and stuff. Presently, Sakari, when we're talking about her ranking situation, she's going to be back to not back, but she's going to stay at 9 after this event. She gained a bit only because it's Indian Wells, and last year she was in the semifinals, but she has a pretty significant lead over Ostapenko. Of course, Marketa Vondroušová, for example, she's going to fall out of the top 10 very quickly after Wimbledon, I would assume. So, there are definitely chances for Sakari to stay in, especially in that 6-10 range. But looking at sort of who's above her, maybe even go up to 5. It's not impossible.
Even Pegula, I wouldn't put her right now. She's not necessarily at her peak. So yeah, between 5 to 10, it's quite possible. Like if Sakari were to put a few good results, because she doesn't have that much to defend apart from that Madrid. Like until Madrid, if she does well in Miami or even Charleston, she can go up.
Yeah, if Pegula keeps dropping points, it's number 5 is definitely quite open.
Yeah, Pegula has semifinal points to defend in Miami, right? Jabeur has a Charleston title to defend coming up. Jiang Wen can probably keep where she is right now or gain, I guess, I guess
Yeah,
gained in August,
she's
September.
only gaining until the latter half of the year, or like the
Yeah.
last few months of the year. So Kinven is there to stay. I don't know if she's actually gonna be there with the level, because like currently she's
Mm,
probably, yeah, like borderline top 10. Maybe the last
mm,
few events. Of course, she also had some issues, I think. But yeah, she's only gonna be gaining for a while, regardless of how well she plays. Really, like if only she picks up a few wins here or there, she's gonna be gaining. So up until maybe
yeah.
Palermo, up until the summer, essentially. So yeah, Kinven is going to be there for a while, but she's also very close to Maria. So yeah, chances for Sakari to like get to 5-6, it's not impossible. And what do you think about her sort of in Miami and her chances there? I don't think it's an event that she's done that well historically at, but the confidence has to count for something, right?
Yeah. Wait, I'm sorry, I missed who you're talking about.
Sakari.
Scar, yeah, no, no. I mean, she hasn't done. She made the semis, I want to say, in 2021. She lost a really tight one to Andrescu, so she has made a deep run there before.
Yeah, her win rate
I
I
think
just
it still
checked is
depends on
54%.
the
So it's
floor.
basically that semi, and otherwise she's been losing early. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, I think she can. I think she can go fairly, fairly deep if she keeps playing like the way she is here. The problem is the conditions are just going to be a little bit tougher for her. These courts just suit her very nicely, with of course the way it's kind of sets up for her shoulder height forehands and the way she can kind of outmuscle and overpower a lot of the opponents. I think that's harder to do in Miami, where she won't get that kick, but at least she can definitely win, two, three, four matches depending on the draw. Yeah, maybe somewhere in between a first round loss and a semifinal appearance.
Yeah, I just checked as well, and the last two runs the last two appearances in Miami, Sakari has reached the second round on both occasions, which is basically means that she lost in the first match. However, her draws were pretty tough. Bia Haddad-Maia in 2022 and Bianca Andreescu in 2023. So
Yeah,
it wasn't that obvious. As I said, I mean the draw is actually going to come out for the women's pretty soon. So it is out already, says Nick even. So we might actually just take
Miami
a look
is
at that.
out. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'm just
I
not been on
I
it.
thought the draw was supposed to be out in like half an hour or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah. I
But
thought I
can
saw
you
a tweet
send
from
us
James
can
Blake.
you send us a link or something? Did-
Yeah, because James Blake said it should come out at 4, so it's not out yet.
I mean, yeah, that's where James Blake announced it. Actually, early it
Yeah,
was, by the WTA, it was announced at a very different hour, much
yeah. The
earlier.
WTA website said it was supposed to be 1 p.m., but
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. What else did we have? Do many players come to net against Iga? Not really. I mean, I guess
Alina Muhova.
partially net. Yeah, I mean, partially the net games
Mhm.
are just non-existent on the WTA tour,
Yeah,
and Karolina Muchova, of course, yeah, is an example, but like she's kind of unique, and that's partially her appeal, right? That's why she has a lot of fans, because yeah, the type of play that she can bring out, her partners aren't as what we're used to on the WTA circuit. So I don't think many do, because not many feel comfortable there.
yeah.
Um,
Taylor Thompson, for instance, I would love to see a match between her and Iga.
yeah, like you've got Townsend, you've got, I don't know, Suecia if she suddenly plays.
If
you
she
know, uh,
unretires from singles, yeah,
yeah, some doubles players basically. Yeah, certainly
yeah.
could do it, but Taylor Townsend
It's not.
kinda counting as well. Hmm. Who?
Yeah, it's not very common.
It's not very common. Okay, I thought you maybe named another player. Yeah, Preston Brown. I'm not excited, Keen. No, I don't know why he's my goat. But yeah, Iga is vulnerable on fast surfaces and against players willing to take it to her and put her on her heels. You can out chess Iga Swiatek. Was it supposed to be count, or I guess that's kind of how I understood you. But yeah, this year 20-2, Kalinskaya, very fast court in Dubai, uh, early ball striker, Noshkova, Australian Open, of course, Australian Open also fast court, and just everyone was taking it to Iga there. Everyone was targeting her weaknesses. This time, this fortnight, no one is able to do it really, and
Yeah.
once again, Swiatek just proves that she's the woman to beat on slow hard courts. And Doha, of course, was maybe even a stronger statement because she beat Rybakina there. But at the same time, it's a smaller. Well, no, it's actually not a smaller event anymore. Oh, it is still right by one round. So you can kind of maybe
you mean,
go.
yeah, in terms of the process.
Yeah, you can kind of go to
Yeah, in
different
terms of the
ways. Like
fact
which one is more important, you can kind of go to different ways. But anyway, she's time and time again proven that slower hard courts are still her kingdom.
Can Kazakina
That's
get to number 5? No, that would be
Kasatkina.
tough. That would be tough, but it's not impossible. She's at 11 right now, but she has Charleston points to defend. She does quite well on the clay usually. I don't
Her
really
form
see it.
from the past 6 months doesn't suggest it, right?
No. Or
But
she
like,
did make a
was
500
there
final.
ever a shot?
Like, 2
Yeah.
times.
Like, was there ever
Yeah.
a shot? Is it theoretically possible? To me, yes, absolutely. Sure thing. But currently, it doesn't seem like a real possibility. This is actually an interesting one from Nurlan. I'm surprised because usually Nurlan's questions are. No, of course, I'm kind of joking, but most of Nurlan's questions
I think she's talking about
aren't
Collins and
as
Noshkova.
interesting like that. Yeah.
Like that.
So like if she plays Collins, Noshkova, Putintseva, Wozniacki, Kostyuk, Sakari in Miami, does she win the event?
I'm gonna say probably, but maybe Noshkova and Collins are tougher in Miami than
these first 2 rounds, right? They look quite crucial. I think if she gets through the first 2 rounds, she's gonna win the event again. Like, yeah, if this is her Miami draw, I think if she gets through Collins and Noshkova, she's gonna win the event. Yes, that's what I would say. There was also, how far did Iga get in Madrid? Yeah, final last year, exactly. Lost to Sabalenka in a great match after beating her in Stuttgart, so kind of similar conditions in both. And also, where's the fastest surface Iga has won a title on? This is interesting from Nick. Let's think about. Is it like
US
maybe
Open or
Fort
Miami?
Worth? Oh, actually, yeah. I was thinking of Fort Worth as well. Like, it wasn't that fast, but it was still. Oh no, she didn't win it. Obviously, yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, of course she didn't win it. She lost to Sabalenka.
Maybe US Open. US Open.
But yeah, that US Open 2022, which we always mention as like a bit of an outlier, where like she has to get through a few tough matches at first, then she actually manages to pull it off, and it really has like a massive impact on her career right now that she got it done. Because if she only was winning the French Open up until now, I mean, there would be a lot more concerns, let's say. But that one hardcourt slam just gives her quite a lot more clarity, let's say, and yeah, something outside of the French so far. But it wasn't easy, and it wasn't. Well, yeah, it wasn't
Miami
easy because
last
of
year
the
was pretty
courts.
quick, so it will be interesting.
Miami is tough to compare, yeah, to the US Open. Yeah, I agree.
But when she won it, it was pretty slow. So I think now it's more medium and medium to fast. So this
US Open,
maybe
yeah,
is
is
something
probably
we'll look at.
the right answer. Because
US
otherwise,
Open
well,
also.
Adelaide, I guess Adelaide is also pretty.
Exactly,
Well,
there's San Diego. But San Diego was slower. I'm not going to count that
Stuttgart in a way. I mean, Stuttgart also should count probably, but it's still clay. I mean, it is indoor. It is very slick clay, but yeah, Miami was very slow when she won it 2022. I mean, it wasn't very slow, but it might have been a little slower than last year. Well, we don't know if it is a lot faster now, Nurlan, because, well, if you're saying that, then you're only talking about the previous edition, and we're gonna see what happens this year, I suppose. We should get the first action from Miami tomorrow. But yeah, otherwise, is there anything else that we want to touch on? Swiatek just completely dominating the week, as we said. Is it 21 games that she lost, all in all? I think so, yeah. 21 games, 3 bagels along the way, two breadsticks, so actually more breadsticks than bagels. If you look at her results this year, obviously, yeah, 20-2. I'm also looking at this website where I have odds next to the matches, and like basically there's only been one match so far for Iga this year where she wasn't the massive favorite, and it was against Rybakina in Doha. She was also the massive
Yeah.
favorite in the 2 matches that she lost to Kalinskaya and Noskova. But yeah, basically just one match so far where she wasn't the overwhelming favorite. And that kind of tells you something about maybe, how the other players can't match her. But at the same time, I don't think it really says anything about easy draws because, well, who is she not going to be a heavy favorite against? Like only Rybakina and Sabalenka. And I don't know if you were there, but I guess you were there, right? When we were talking about that. We were talking about this previously on the watch along, where like right now we cannot really say that players like Goff or Swiatek or Rybakina Sabalenka have easy draws because of that gap between top four and the rest, and they
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
cannot play one another until the semis. I think you were on that stream, yeah, indeed, with
Yeah.
John, right? That was the one, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting
Um,
to see if she plays, Rybakina Sabalenka in Miami because that's really well the players that can really trouble her.
yeah.
Ostapenko maybe as well. Yeah.
Ban giving us an English translation of that earlier thing with Jerzy, nie wierzy and so on. I don't even remember the tongue twister, but it is a translation of that.
Even Sabalenka though, honestly, he's yet to beat her on a slow-ish court. It's all been
Yeah,
fast altitude conditions or indoors. So there's
yeah.
that as well.
Rybakina did
It's
it
not
in Indian Wells last year, sort
yes.
of regardless
Yeah.
of the injury concern. She did it. We can't deny it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year that win in Doha was definitely quite crucial as well to sort of maintain Iga's position. Isn't Rybakina unwell? Yeah. I mean, she had that gastrointestinal
She should
thing.
be
We'll see.
she should be good for Miami, I would think.
Hopefully. I mean, we also thought that
Yeah.
she was going to be good for Indian Wells, and then she wasn't, but hopefully. And also regarding Iga pulling out of Miami, doesn't seem like it will happen. I understand, the logic behind it. Yeah, rest and play on clay, but she the thing is she doesn't really start her clay season until Stuttgart, and that's the big difference I think to me, Jane, between the ATP tour and the WTA tour, because on the
Mhm.
ATP she would have Monte Carlo like almost right away, so there would be more
Yeah,
of an
just 1 week
incentive.
off and then Monte Carlo. Here she gets 2 weeks.
Exactly. So like there's no
So that one
incentive
extra
really
week
to
is good.
Miami. Yeah, there's no incentive because you're still gonna get a lot of clay time on before Stuttgart. So I don't think there's going to be a big thing here.
Ostapenko would be the betting
Derek
favorite
says
versus
that
Iga. I'm not so
Ostapenko
sure
would be
about
the
that.
betting favorite. No,
I'm
no.
not so sure. If they're playing in Rome or something or Roland Garros, they're not gonna be she's not gonna be the betting favorite. It's not happening.
Which one? Ostapenko Świątek?
Yeah.
No, Ostapenko would not be the betting favorite against Świątek. I don't know if that would be right that she
Yeah.
wouldn't, but no, she wouldn't. Regardless of where they play, really. I think you can probably best see it like by their matchup at the U.S. Open. Like Iga was a stupidly big favorite there. Um, I don't know if this is going to be right that she's going to be still the betting favorite over Ostapenko, but strictly betting wise, Iga would for sure be the favorite. Um, there is a big gap between the top three. Yeah. That's the thing we talked about, says John. Iga is in BJK Cup as well. Yes, she's playing against Switzerland because she has to fulfill the Olympic criteria. Switzerland, is it? It is Switzerland, right? It is away. You're probably not going to know this, but yeah, I think I read it just a couple of days ago that we're going to play Switzerland away. Iga has been announced as part of the team, I think, alongside Linette, Frank, Kava, and Chwaliska, I think. So yeah, obviously, just like Hurkacz, she kind of has to fulfill her criteria this year. So she's gonna have to appear against Switzerland, which I don't know which
When
surface
is
that
that
will be,
now?
but it might be hard courts. I think it's just before Stuttgart, and that's how it was last year. I think Niemeyer played like BJK. She played very well, and then she went to yeah. It was definitely like that last year, and I think it's the same this year. So yeah, she also has the Beijing Cup. I know, so that's a good point from Nick. That might force her to like have a bit of a surface, conditions switch depending on what surface the Swiss Federation comes up with. I don't actually know if this was already announced or not. Yeah, is Indian Wells going to get a roof this year?
I
Finally,
guess
it
it
kind
makes
of
sense
needed
to get
one, but
one.
it's not going to, right?
I
It's
guess it
not
makes
worth
sense to
it.
get one for me.
Yeah,
It's really not worth the cost, and it's the average rain is like 5 inches the whole year. I know this year was a bit of an exception. There's El Nino going on in California, but nah, it's not worth getting it. To be honest, doesn't make a lot of sense.
I fully agree with that. Like, it would just be wasting money. It's not going to come up often enough. Most years we're like not going to see, I don't want to say a drop of rain, but we're not going to see as much rain as here. Derek says that
The
Miami
incident
center
was
court is awful. Is it because of where the venue is held, the parking lot,
it's
or
because it's
what?
in a parking lot, and because they convert the stadium, the Miami Dolphins NFL stadium is converted to makeshift. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just tennis court facility. So the arena is just so big, and it's really hard to fill it up, basically, because it's like double, triple the capacity of most normal tennis stadiums. But yeah, I've heard the venue itself is pretty nice. It just doesn't look quite as aesthetically good on TV compared to when they were at Crandon Park, which is the earlier location, which yeah, definitely was a lot more visually appealing. Certainly on the TV. I'll see how it is actually when I go there in person now.
Who's doing the men's final? Do you know, Vansh? I actually don't, so I can't help. It's not
I
me.
think it is Nick. I think Nick is on the call for the men's. I forget who the other person is. I think maybe Ciara. Ciara, what's her name? Is her name Ciara? And I might be
I don't know
completely
how
off.
to read her name, but yes, I mean, there is a person like this, yes, but I don't know how
Yeah,
to read her
yeah.
name. No.
And the one who wrote that really nice article actually on Iga being an
Yes,
introvert.
yes. I recently sort of
I,
realized that there was someone like this on the
I
Talking
read,
Tennis team, and
yeah,
then
I read
I
that.
then I realized that it's the same person who wrote the article. Yeah, so like I connected the dots in my head.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, before that I didn't know, like, it was the same person. Something else I wanted to say, but I don't remember now. But yeah, basically, there's gonna be a stream obviously for the men's final. I'm gonna be watching Phoenix, and I'm still gonna catch Alcaraz Medvedev, but just not on stream.
yeah.
But yeah, anyone,
Ciara's.
and
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, here
Oh,
Nick says
Kyra.
it's the same
Yeah,
as or Kira.
Kira. Kira. Okay.
Kira, I think probably more Kira, right? I mean,
Kira. Yeah.
how do you pronounce
Okay.
how do you pronounce this name? I think it's Kira.
In
Anyway,
Hindi, it means cucumber. But anyway, yeah.
Kira would make sense because it would be the same as Keen, right? The Irish commentator on the stream, so that would make sense. When is the Miami draw, Jane? It's supposed to be in about 15 minutes for the women's, whereas for the men's it's supposed to be tomorrow. And I guess with that we will probably close out. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I also saw the stat right now. Swiatek is chasing down Agnieszka Radwańska as well in the
Yeah.
most titles for a Polish player.
She has 19.
19, Agnieszka at 20. No male player has ever gotten that far, with Wojtek Fibak having the most with 15, at least in singles.
I think
So
Hurkacz can catch
that
the
could be
number.
a bit of a story too.
Maybe.
I mean, he's not gonna get to where Iga is. Let's say he might get to where Iga is right now, but he will not track down Iga, right?
No.
That kind of sounds impossible. But yeah, anything else really? I don't think so. We covered a lot of ground here about the Świątek Sakari final, their storylines, their storylines going into Miami. The draw is coming out pretty soon, so that might also influence, of course, our opinions. So don't point it out when we when we said something that is going to turn out horribly wrong or something. But I don't think we really made any big time predictions. But yeah, most WTA 1000s. I see that Vanshi probably tweeted this out. And Świątek indeed number at 8 already, 10 Azarenka, 9 Venus, 9 Kvitova, 9 Halep. So yeah, getting that record, at least when it comes to active players, seems imminent. Getting that record over Serena, that will take years of good work, but she is definitely capable. And indeed, John tells you that it's going to be Nick and Kira, I hope, in the hot seats for Medvedev Alcaraz. So you guys should feel invited to catch that stream. Of course, there's even a link in the chat if you're very lazy and you can't even click our channel. And also subscribe, just in case just in case you haven't yet. And yeah, thank you, Vansh. As usual, we didn't get a very competitive Iga Swiatek match, but I guess that was kind of to be expected. We tried to make the most of it in terms of the commentary. We tried to get the most of it make the most of it in terms of the storylines. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll see you guys all pretty soon.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.